Guys, welcome back to Karamia's Corner. Join me today for a little junk journal with me. This is the Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge. Last time I showed you my favorite junk journal supplies, and if you've missed it, make sure to check out that video. I'll link it at the end. But today we'll do a little tea dyeing, and I've pulled out my sketch pad, my little receipt, which is fabulous for vintage themed ephemera. We also have our envelopes that we'll be using as pockets. So I want to tea dye these guys. Don't forget to take out your Dollar Tree doily. We're going to be using that as well. And then after that, we are going to be decorating our junk journal cover. My go-to tea brand for tea dyeing is PG Tips or Lipton because it has that really nice dark color. I warm up about 2 cups of water and put some 4 to 5 tea bags. I also love using fruit tea. It has that nice scent that can stick to your paper, so that's really nice and has different colors and shades. Now I've poured the tea solution in my baking sheet pan, and I'm going to be soaking the paper for about 3 to 5 minutes. Then I'm going to lay it flat on the table with the doily on top. And it is perfect weather. It's super hot outside right now, so it's perfect time to dry these sheets. There are different ways on how to do that, but this is one way. I'm also using a dabbing technique using the used tea bags. It creates a darker impression of your doily on the paper. Alright guys, while we're waiting for our paper to dry up, let's go ahead and decorate our journal cover. Our base will be a cereal box. And then I have pulled out some of the notebooks I shared with you. I wanted to include them as little inserts. We have our kitchen liner. This is the pattern for this one. And this one has this beautiful floral pattern. So we are going to be making a vintage floral junk journal. We have our doily. And for the table runner, I went ahead and picked this beautiful green one. Last time I made this little little container that I had for my I started You Finish It swap challenge with my swap partner, Baby's Closet Creation, and she decorated it. So I really love this color, and I decided this would be perfect for our garden theme. And then for the artwork on the front, we have this framed art piece that we are going to be using, and I love the watercolor finish to it. So I think this will make a great focal point on our cover. So let me measure our little notebook insert and our artwork so that we can see how large this cover is going to be. The fun part is we have a really wide spine, probably 2.5 inches or 2 inches wide, and this is our insert. So I'm thinking I want to have a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch on the top. So I'm going to cut it right about here probably, and I'll be right back. Here it is guys, I've cut the cereal box to size. We have our liner here. The awesome part about this liner is it already has an adhesive, so you can see you can just peel that off and stick it to your base. I've also cut our floral liner to size. Now I notice that this is smaller, but I think it should be fine. And we will be sticking that on this other side of our base. And then for the extra cardboard, I was thinking of creating a little belly band so that I can slide in my notebook insert. But my thought process is I might put it in the back just because it might be too top heavy if you put it underneath the cover. So I think we'll put this guy over here. So I'll be right back. I'm going to stick this on top of our cardboard base here, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here we have our liner on top, and this is what it looks like. You can smooth it out here, and that's what the finish looks like. It almost has that marbling look. So what I've done is I've added some of my favorite Daiso adhesive, double-sided tape. You can definitely use fabric glue. I'm also going to add some of that, and it's the Beacon Fabric Fix permanent adhesive. They have the same brand that they offer at Dollar Tree, I think, and it says it's foam glue, so you can definitely use that. So let me go ahead and first fold our folds here. so we can complete the front cover. And just varnish it and press it down. And then I am going to put some glue, some fabric glue on top. So now I'm just putting glue around the border of our book. Make sure to just ensure that we have enough adhesive to hold our liner in place, because it is a heavier kind of material, and we want to make sure that it is really secure and it won't kind of lift up. So I'm going to do that. Let me see what would be the easier way to do this. Let me pull this aside, and I'm going to lay this guy flat like this. I'll flip my cover over and lay it down. Now you see that we have some of this excess. I might keep this design outside, and I don't mind having it there because we're still going to be covering it with some of this runner here. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape here and some of our fabric glue, and then stick it on top of that. We're going to cover these pieces here. I don't want to have to see that. So what I've done is I've used a cardboard from my sketch pad, and I have stitched my runner on top using my sewing machine. If you don't have a sewing machine, don't worry. You can also adhere your fabric with some fabric glue, or double side glue works as well. So I'm just going to stick this on top. I've made another panel for the back side as well. And I'm going to put some fabric glue so we can make sure the cover sticks nicely on top. And then we are going to pick our art for the front cover. Just adding glue here. I also have some double-side tape on the cardboard part of this panel, and now I'm just going to make sure I have it on there. Press down, and I'm going to get the other one here. And glue it. There are so many different ways on how to approach your cover. You can use fabric, and there's paper. If you would like to do a paper collage, that's another way to do it. But in this case, we're using some of these liners in our table runner. And let me just, again, make sure it just covers it just right. I may be covering this as well with something else, not quite sure yet. And here is our front cover. So now we are going to pick our little art focal point here, and I have picked this watercolor image that we found at Dollar Tree. So it's really white and really stark, and we're going for vintage botanical or floral. What I'm going to do is do a rough tear of this image, and then we are going to apply some distress ink. So let me go ahead and do that. So I have my Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo for the color. I have my little dauber here. Let us start tearing away. So I'm just going to slowly make my way as if I were cutting or fuzzy cutting this image. It just adds, you know, more character to your journal. showing age and distressed edges, rough edges, nothing perfect. That's why I love junk journaling, because you don't really have to have straight, pristine, perfect cuts. Okay, so we have our image here. Let me do a little trimming here. And then we are going to ink the edges. Now, if you don't have a dauber or an inker, you can definitely use a brown marker or a black marker and just lightly put some color on the edges of your paper. It kind of gives the same effect. And look at that. Already the white, the start color is changing and is giving a better finish and look to our image here. Now, before I lay it down, I would love to create maybe a few layers in the back. We can use our doily and maybe cut a few pieces and put it underneath. So for example, let's see, how would she lay? I want to show the green, so I don't want to have too much of our doily. Kind of like, you know, the ruffling where you have it lay like this and then lay the image on top. I could do that. Or you know what I'm thinking? I also just remembered we still have the doily that we were using to coffee dye or tea dye our paper. I think that might have a better look to it. So let me get that real quick. So here's what this tea dye doily looks like. I think I kind of like that more. So I may lay this flat here, but I do want to add more texture here, maybe some ruffled piece from the runner, just to add more color and contrast again between the doily. I may leave this here and let it kind of hang over to our spine, or I may just cut it off and see how that will look. What do you think, guys? Oh wow, decisions. There's so many ways to go about this, but I'm really leaning towards our doily, so I think I'm gonna go with that. I'll probably just roughly cut it here, glue it down, and then add some of maybe this, some ruffling here, and I'll stitch it real quick on the machine and see what that looks like. So here it is, guys. I decided to glue the doily and let it overlap to our spine and back cover. And I did the remaining of our table runner. I had a few more, did a little ruffle stitch here, kind of creating a frame following the shape of our cut here. So I think it is looking pretty good. I may be adding some accent flat back little pieces here. We'll have to see, but I wanted to show you what our tea dyed papers look like. Here are the pages that we tea dyed today. These are the receipts. They look really aged and worn, and I think that adds so much character and creating some faux vintage ephemera. Here are the envelopes. Now, little tip I think I forgot to mention was make sure you seal this side flap when you soak it, so that way it's ready to go as a pocket, and you would cut here on each side, fold it over and make it a pocket, or you know, cut on the top if that's how you would like it. But look at that beautiful coloring there. And then on the flip side, we see different colors of light, medium, and dark. So that came out really beautifully. We have this one here, really grungy looking, and here is another one. Now for the doily that we used from Dollar Tree, look at how beautiful this came out. Again, you can see that this is darker when I did more of the dabbing there. So it's according to your preference. So if you want something lighter, then I would not do the dabbing technique. You want more detail, you can also put your doily on the side of your page and dab there so that you have the doily imprint. Here is a lighter one, really subtle but still very pretty. Love that. So we are going to be mixing this up. Once we start putting our pages together, we are going to add them to our journal and, you know, pick which pages we want to use and mix up with some book pages. We are going to mix it up with what do you call it, some sketch paper too, some grid paper, all kinds of paper, and then we are going to put them all together next time. I had so much fun doing a little junk journaling with you guys. I hope you did too. Today we have decorated our cover with a cereal cardboard base, and we also did some tea dyeing of some of the pages that we'll be using for this journal. So join me again next time when I come back. We'll put our pages together, and we will also be creating a little belly band for our notebook insert on the back of our journal. And we will be doing that next, so stay tuned. Again, thanks for watching Caramia's Corner. See you next time. Bye.